Good evening, how do, welcome to the Fire Burns Within channel once again. The Noughties, the decade that followed the 90s. Did you need it spelling out? Okay, this decade, I'm going to go through the usual. I've done it for the 80s, I've done it for the 90s. Now it's the turn of the Noughties, the new millennium. Heavy metal top threes from each year, starting from 2000 to 2009, and finally a top 15 based on the 30 albums that I'll be listing. This was quite painstaking. I had to do quite a lot of research, make sure I tried not to miss anything that I could possibly have forgotten. I think it's pretty much okay. I might have missed one, but I don't know. I think it's okay. It looks okay. So anyway, not too much talk. Yes, year 2000. Top three in reverse order. Number 3, Nevermore, Dead Heart in a Dead World. Very cool album, very melodic, heavy metal, heavy as well. Warrell Dane, great singer, rest in peace. Number 2 is Iron Maiden's Brave New World. Bruce comeback, everyone knows it, everyone knows it's a great release. You know, very good comeback. Probably my favourite of all the comeback since the comeback of Bruce. Definitely my favourite out of all those 5, I believe it is. And the number 1 album of 2000. Another big comeback album. It's Mr. Metal God himself, Halford, and Resurrection. All is forgiven, Mr. Halford. You came back with proper heavy metal. Okay, 2001, in 3rd place, Balsagoth and Atlantis Ascendant. I've talked a lot about Balsagoth. I've even done a video about them. Very cool band. I really enjoy that album. In 2nd place, the debut album of Lost Horizon called Awakening the World. Very cool, empowering power metal, melodic power metal, amazing vocals, histrionics, sometimes funny lyrics. Well, some would say cringe-worthy lyrics, but I don't care. This is power metal. I've suspended my need for eloquent poetry. But it wasn't the number 1 album, and it was another debut. This debut is a colossal album. It's the debut album from Falconer from Sweden. What an album this is. Absolutely amazing. Of course, it's mainly due to the vocals that the band had. Matthias Blatt, he's an amazing singer. The band has just called it quits this year with a final album. Farewell to Falconer. But 2001, you kicked ass. Your best album. 2002, in 3rd place, Pagan's Mind and Celestial Entrance. It's if you don't know Pagan's Mind, they're a Norwegian melodic prog metal band. Very melodic, but also quite prog-ish, little bit Dream Theater-ish, but much more melodic. So they mix a little bit of power metal in there. Such an awesome band. The singer especially is really cool, Niels K. Rue. In 2nd place, 2002, Amon Amarth versus the World. This was the first real Amon Amarth album that I really liked. I sort of liked them a bit before, but not the full albums. But Versus the World is awesome. It's like heavy, melodic, pounding death metal. Very cool. But it wasn't the number 1. The number 1 is another death metal album. It's not melodic this time. It's very heavy, very technical. It's Decapitated and Nihility. I love this album. I think it's absolute mental album. Crazy riffs, heavy grooves, pretty technical, choppy, crazy stuff. Awesome album. 2003, in third place, another debut album. It's Master Plan's self-titled. Awesome start for the band. Yorn, Roland Grapov. Who else? I think it's the Blind Guardian drummer. I'm not sure. I think so anyway. But Roland is the main man, and you've got Yorn on vocals. Can't go wrong. What a project. What a band. Awesome. In second place, it's another German band. It's Rage and Sound Chaser. I love this album. It's my favourite Rage album. It's very heavy, very melodic. Much more melodic than some of their other albums. Hence, I like it more. Very cool album. But it's not the number one. The number one album is a monument in power metal history. It's the second Lost Horizon album, A Flame to the Ground Beneath. I've run out of positive things to say about this. I mean, I love this album. The debut was good, but straight away, 2 years later, they followed it up with A Flame to the Ground Beneath, and I don't know, it's just an amazing piece of work. Of course, it's all held together by Daniel Hyman's amazing vocals. The guy is just... he's something else. His voice is something else. So that was number one. 2004, in third place. How about a bit of Dragon Force and Sonic Firestorm? Very cool album. The debut was cool, but it was a bit sort of like they still haven't fully got the production right. But on Sonic Firestorm, everything is like set to maximum, maximum Dragon Force, if you like. The full shred, full production, full vocals, everything is set to maximum. In second place, going to America for Iced Earth and The Glorious Burden. This was an epic album. I mean, Ripper, this is definitely his best work with Iced Earth. John Schaefer, he was on top form. The album is awesome, very melodic, very epic. Catchy stuff, all about the American independence and the American Civil War, etc. But the number one album of 2004 is of one of my favourite bands. Literally my favourite band. It's Megadeth and The System Has Failed. This was supposed to be a Mustaine solo record, but I think the record company said, nah, you got to put Megadeth on it. So he sort of said, okay, we'll put Megadeth on it. But it was an awesome album, very melodic, very catchy, quite thrashy at times, little bit old school, little bit new school. It was a good mix between the two. Very, very cool album. A little bit underrated, I would say. But anyway, let's move on. 2005, in third place, we have the Swedish band debut. It's Bloodbound and Nosferatu, Urban Breed on vocals. Very catchy album, mixed between, say, Iron Maiden, Helloween, Gamma Ray, taking influences from all these bands and making a great album. Urban Breed, his name. I can't get his name right. On vocals, awesome stuff. In second place, back to a band I mentioned already. It's the second album from Master Plan, Aeronautics. Again, I love this album. I think this album is awesome. I might even like it more than the debut, but both of them are amazing. But the number one is a band I've already mentioned again, and it's Pagan's Mind. And the album is Enigmatic: Calling. I love this album. This album is so awesome. So melodic, so catchy, little bit progressive, very cool, amazing high-pitched vocals from Niels K. Rue. easily my number one of 2005. The year 2006, not number yet. In third place, we go to Sweden and Wolf with Black Flame. Amazing Wolf album, very melodic, hard hitting, very catchy, classic heavy metal, very cool. In second place, it's Iron Maiden, A Matter of Life and Death. Yeah, it's a very good album. It's not like totally amazing as a Maiden album, but for that year in 2006, it deserves its second spot. But it's not the number one. The number one, I'll go to Sweden, and for the power metal band Dream Evil and the album United. I love this album. It's easily one of my favourite from Dream Evil, and they've got a lot of good albums in the early part of the millennium. But I just love this album. It's really cool. United, number one in 2006. Right, moving on to 2007. In third place, we have Megadeth and United Abominations. Again, very cool album from the Death Boys. Quite heavy, still melodic. More of a band now. It's not so much the Dave Mustaine solo thing like on The System Has Failed. It's got a band feel now. Very cool album. Very cool. In second place, it's the Mighty Powerwolf and Lupus Dei. This was their second album. The first album was good, but it wasn't like the current Powerwolf. Lupus Dei is when they start to develop into what Powerwolf is now, and it's an amazing album. So many cool songs, but it wasn't number one. Number one in 2007, I go to the Kings of German Power Metal, Halloween, and Gambling with the Devil. I love this album. I think it's one of Halloween's best albums, even including the Keeper era. I know people will say Keeper, Keeper, Keeper till they're blue in the face, but for me, I don't know. I like The Dark Ride. I like quite a few of the 2000 albums, 2000 onwards. Seven Sinners I love, but Gambling with the Devil, I think it's Andy Derris's best vocal performance. I think it's really awesome, that album. And was number one in 2007. 2008 and 9 to go. 2008, third place. It's Seventh Wonder and Mercy Falls. Seventh Wonder is a Swedish prog metal band. Very melodic, very catchy vocals. Tommy Karavik, who's now in both Seventh Wonder and Camelot. Very awesome concept-based prog metal, this album. I seriously recommend you check this one out if you haven't heard Seventh Wonder and Mercy Falls. In second place, we go to the Greek power metal kings, Firewind, and the Premonition album. Yeah, I love this album. I think it's still my favourite Firewind album of all. It's very melodic, Apollo on vocals, Gus G with his best songwriting, very cool. But the number one is the mighty Swedes, the War Machine, Sabaton and Art of War. I love Art of War. It's in the top 3 Sabaton albums for me, if not the top, but it's very close. Very awesome album, very catchy, just great ball busting power metal from the Swedish War Machine. Moving on to the last year of the decade, 2009. In third place, we go to Greece. Again to Greece, but not power metal. This time full on thrash metal. It's Suicidal Angels and Sanctify the Darkness. I love this album. It's absolutely awesome. Killer thrash metal. Great sound, absolute mayhem, awesome stuff. In second place, I'm sticking with the thrash genre. It's Megadeth again and Endgame, a very heavy album, much more thrashier than the previous albums, which were a little bit melodic. This is still melodic, but it's got some balls to it as well. I think a lot of Megadeth fans really enjoyed Endgame. But it wasn't number one. The number one is the mighty German wolf fanciers, Power Wolf, with Bible of the Beast, hitting their stride, very catchy, anthemic, ball-busting, heavy power metal. You can't go wrong with that one. So there you have it. You've got all the years I've listed, 3 albums which are my favourite from each year. Now I do a top 15 in reverse order based on that 30. 15 goes, 15 stays, and it's in order, in somewhat order. I mean, these things are, you know, all depends on the day, but in somewhat of an order. In 15th place, we've got Powerwolves, Lupus Dei, awesome. 14th place, Dream Evils, United. 13th place is Megadeth, The System Has Failed, awesome. 12th place, Masterplan's debut, self-titled. 11th place is Iron Maiden's Brave New World, big comeback with Bruce. Number 10, Firewind, The Premonition, again awesome. Number 9 is Pagan's Mind, Enigmatic, Calling. I love these guys. So underrated, Pagan's Mind. They should be much bigger. Number 8, Polish death metal kings, Decapitated and Nihility. Number 7, the metal god Halford, Resurrection. Number 6, German kings of power thrash, Rage and Sound Chaser. Number 5, the German wolf fanciers, Power Wolf, Bible of the Beast. In 4th place, the kings of German power metal, Halloween and Gambling with the Devil. Such an awesome album. In 3rd place, Mighty Sabaton and the Art of War. In 2nd place, staying in Sweden, that orgasmic debut, Falconer, self-titled album. Awesome stuff. But the number one, I've waxed lyrical about this. It's the almighty, sadly much missed, Lost Horizon and A Flame to the Ground Beneath. What a monument that is to power metal. I mean, I run out of positive things to say about that album. I mean, it's something else. I mean, it's criminal that they couldn't sort it out to get the 3rd album done with Daniel on vocals. He left for whatever reason. They had some issues and they couldn't find a new singer, and the whole thing got shelved, and Lost Horizon is no more. But there you have it. That was the Noughties. What are your favourites from the Noughties? Say so in the comments.